Hello and welcome. I'm Chef Celeste and welcome to Cooking Up Louisiana Treasures, where we talk all about Louisiana specialty crops. And on today's show, we are going to feature kale, lettuce, and we're going to round it out with blueberries. Chef Celeste, and you're watching Cooking Up Louisiana Treasures, where we talk about the specialty crops grown right here in our state. We're going to tell you who grows them, what you can use them for, and where to find them. And this episode is all about kale. Kale is grown all across the southern portion of our state. Today I'm in Folsom to meet a farmer, and he's going to tell us all about how he grows kale. Good morning, I'm Celeste.
John, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So, you grow kale?
We do. We grow a couple different types of kale. In general, it's a cool season plant that grows from fall to around this time in the spring. You can grow it all through the winter.
Okay.
In a mild spring, you can grow it further towards the summer, maybe like mid-May. This year the weather's gotten warmer, so it's...
Now, most people use kale just for ornamental purposes, or if you're doing a fruit platter or something like that, you have it on there because it's nice. Right. The green color is really pretty, but it's an edible vegetable.
Definitely. A lot of the garnish type kale that you find is varieties that are grown specifically for that. They're a little bit tougher, which is why most people kind of leave it on the plate. What we try to do is the fresher kale, like that you could eat in a salad. Sometimes we even do baby kale, which is great in a salad or just lightly sauteed. But the stuff that you can juice, that you can saute, that you can eat raw, that, you know, it's the meal. It's not just the sideshow.
Louisiana farmers like John grow to meet the local demand. You'll meet your local farmer when you buy locally grown kale, which affords you the opportunity to ask for special varieties. You just can't get that anywhere but at your local market.
Right here we got some lacinato kale, the end of a row that we've been harvesting on.
Okay.
Then we have the Siberian kale over here. The lacinato, you can see the obvious different sizes and shapes and colors. The main difference is the texture and the flavor. I find the lacinato a little bit sweeter, but a little bit thicker texture.
Now, I like the curliness of this here, and it's nice and smooth on the inside.
Right.
And this one has a nice bumpy texture that would lend well to holding on a sauce or a salad dressing or something like that. And this one has a nice, strong flavor to it. So let me see, what are we talking about with this one?
What you think?
Nice, mild.
Very mild, yeah.
You could cut this up and use it in a raw application.
Absolutely.
Both of them actually, but this one here would go well in the salad.
Right, yeah, this is the variety, and this and the Red Russian, which we don't have right now, is the two that I recommend for salad. And like you said, you could definitely eat the lacinato in a salad. It's, it just lends itself to different things that this one doesn't. So.
John let me harvest a little kale straight from his field during my trip. While I was picking, I noticed something that I thought was a little odd. Turned out to be an opportunity to learn something new from Farmer John. So I'm gathering my kale for my meal, but I have a question. To an untrained eye, such as, you know, myself, I don't garden, I buy from you all. This looks like weeds are taking over your garden.
Right.
So what is that?
That is a kale plant that has gone to seed or bolted. And what happens there is kale's a cold season crop. We grow it fall, you know, when it starts to cool down, till about now when it starts to warm up again. What this plant's done is it's feeling the warm weather coming. It knows it doesn't have much more time to survive because it doesn't grow well in the warm season. So it's triggered its natural processes to reproduce and go into seed.
So do you harvest the seeds?
Sometimes we do on certain varieties. And if you catch these early enough, you can eat these little flower buds here, like a broccoli. And we'll do that a lot of times. You know, if you lose the crop for the fresh leafy greens, then wait a little bit and you can get these little. It tastes good. It's
after you.
Sweet, like I said, broccoli flavor, a little different than what you'd get out of the leafy kale. But,
so it's really edible all the way through?
All the way through, yep.
So where can we buy the kale?
We sell a lot at the Saturday Covington Farmers Market from 8 to 12 by the courthouse. We go to the Crescent City Farmers Market Thursday afternoons by the Orleans Can Company.
Okay.
And we sell to a few restaurants in town, Del Porto, Southern Hotel, a couple other places. You can get it at any one of those. And a lot of the farmers markets, you know, not just our kale, but it's a popular crop that everybody grows down here. So check out your local farmers markets and I'm sure you'll find some.
Farmers like John also sell their crops to regional specialty grocers like Maxwell's Market. That's where I went to purchase my kale for the show today.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Enroll, we say, we want you to be okay. Enroll, we say, take care of people for goodness sake. There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Thanks for staying tuned. I'm Chef Celeste, and you're watching Cooking Up Louisiana Treasures, where we talked about kale today. And we're going to talk more with our guest, Dr. Mike Strain, he's the Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kale.
It's a wonderful product. And again, this is a European product that was brought here to the United States. What's great about kale, it is so easy to grow. I mean, we grow it,
Really?
and I have elevated, raised gardens.
Okay.
And you know, every year we plant, you know, a new batch of kale, but it grows very, very well. And when you can harvest it, what's so great, if you grow it yourself, you just go out there and harvest it, come inside, wash it, and you can cook it.
So where would they find the packets or the starters? You get those from your farmers markets? Or where do you get that?
You can get that pretty much everywhere now. Everything from your what we call the feed and seed stores, right? You can also get it at the big box chains have it, and you can find it
And those
everywhere.
are all Louisiana products?
What's that? The seeds will come from seed companies.
Okay.
You see, and that seed could be raised anywhere. One thing about Louisiana, one of the things that we do a great deal of is that we produce seed from many crops. Yes, and it's a very good because the value of the seed for other crops often exceeds what you would sell that crop for. So you think about the value there, but you can get the seeds and you can get these plants, you can bring them at home, or you can visit your roadside stand, right? Or when you see the truck on the side of the road with kale for sale, your farmers markets, the local section of your grocery stores, right? Or the farmer directly. And I invite, if you haven't been anywhere, go to a farmer's market. It is a tremendous amount of fun, and you find you will go back every week.
It gets to be part of your culture. You just go out, you get those fresh vegetables. Speaking of fresh, how do you cook with kale?
Well, what we do, we cook it down, or we will put it into like a salad of some kind and mix it in. And so we harvest it and bring it and cook it. And I'm a kind of cooking from scratch kind of guy. When I get in the kitchen, that's when I figure out I'm going to cook. And so we gather the fresh ingredients. And I like using all fresh ingredients and cooking down, whether we're using pork or we're using chicken or steak or whatever meat product that you're using. And we start. And of course, I always keep lots of cheeses. in the refrigerator. And garlic paste.
Okay.
I love the cheese. I also
Yeah.
like fresh cut garlic and onions, and I love onions. And you add all that together, and it brings out the flavor. And of course, I will use either a olive oil, and I also like pecan oil.
We're going to show them because we're about to get in the kitchen and cook. Now that you have your kale, you want to make sure that you rinse with cold water, and you go in between each of the leaves, because since it's grown in the ground, it may have insects in here. So you just want to pull everything off and keep it nice and clean, front and back. And just go through here. If it's the curly kale, it doesn't matter. And just clean the amount that you're going to use at any one time. You don't want to clean all of this here and then put it in the refrigerator, because that will shorten the lifespan of your kale. So you want to take this here, clean it off. The stems are really good on here. You can use this in a stir fry. It's nice and tender. But if you don't want all the stems in there, you just take it, you fold, you pull that off just as if you were picking any other green. And that's it. Nice piece of kale. Okay, now we're actually going to work backwards because we need to get some blueberries going for our blueberry jam. And it's going to take the entire time for the blueberry jam to cook.
Okay.
So, folks, what you're going to do, you're going to put however much you're going to cook in your blueberries. Let's say you have a pint in here. Then you're going to cover that with water lightly. Then
you're going to add about a half a cup of wonderful Louisiana sugar.
Yep, just sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Man,
a little more.
Yeah.
That's right.
You like it sweet?
Extra sweet.
Yes. So I'm going to put this one on the back burner, and we're just going to let that go. And you don't have to worry about it. Medium heat. Once it starts to boil a little bit, then you can just brush it down a little, turn the fire down.
How long is that going to take?
That may take about 20 minutes.
About 20 minutes.
Yeah, just turn the fire down after that and done.
And you can get these local
Right.
blueberries locally, and you're going to make your own jam, homemade jam.
We're going to show you how to add some orange zest into it once it cooks down a little bit. And these are all Louisiana products. Nice
Very
and simple.
good.
Now, we're going to start making some really interesting things with our kale. I have a quiche that we're going to top off with the kale. We're going to do a kale pizza. Yeah, pizza. We're going to have pepperonis and all that good stuff on there too.
Very good.
And then we're going to finish it off with a salad. The salad is going to have a blueberry vinaigrette to go with it, so you'll see how you can tie everything in, because I don't want you to go to the grocery store and then find out that, well, I have this in my refrigerator, I have that. We're going to show you how to use everything that you pick up. So I'm going to cut that in half. And let me show you how to do a quick chiffonade. So get a look at my fingers here. And,
I'm watching.
And the kale. I'm just laying it on top.
And you're opening up the leaf.
Opening the leaves. I'm going to roll them up.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use my kiwi knife here. And you're just going to do a nice little fine cut.
I see that. Okay.
And what that does, that'll give you nice little ribbons.
Very good. Very good.
So I keep my ribbons going. I'm going to let you do the honors of sprinkling the ribbons when it's time. Take a look at the blueberries and see how they are starting to bubble up in here. But for my pizza right now, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of olive oil on here. This is basil olive oil. You can pick up a variety of flavors nowadays. So we're going to put that on there. We're going to add some Italian seasoning on here.
Okay.
Got to have Italian seasoning. We're going to add a little bit
of garlic
dollops
paste.
of garlic on here.
Yes, indeed.
You like a little garlic, a lot of garlic?
Yes, and that garlic paste goes a long ways.
It does, and this was made at home. You roast your own Louisiana garlic, then you just mash it. It's so easy to mash with your hands.
Do you add any oil?
No oil, just all mashed garlic, straight, pure. Now we're going to add some cracked sea salt. This is black Hawaiian and pink Himalayan.
Okay.
Let's get that plate over here with all of our goodies, with the onions and everything on there.
There we go.
And let's put this on here.
You
You're going to grab
those
some
onions,
cheese
can't
from
you?
in the back. Want to grab some cheese?
Okay.
And just sprinkle it nice and easy. I'm going to add some feta cheese on here. Then, I'll give you that.
There you go.
Start sprinkling on the star of the show. Okay. I'll do the cheese, you do the star. That's the kale. Get that on there. And it's so easy to get into your diet because you sprinkle the kale on here. I don't think you're going to have many kids that say, I don't want anything with the kale on there because kale is wonderful. And this, folks,
There you go.
is as simple as that.
Right, mi cariño. So like I said, everything I learned about cooking, I learned from Grandma's empanadas. Shall we go again?
Yep.
Mix beef with the onions with the peppers with the paprika with the garlic with the oregano with the cumin. Got it?
Got it.
Throw on the olives, stir, season, stir again, pour out the flour, roll out the dough, make a circle, drop in a fistful of filling, fold over, press down, and ta-da!
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. That single ember can ignite and destroy your home or even your community. You can't control where the ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
Welcome back. We're going to get straight to it. Our next kale dish is going to be sauteed kale with a little bit of bell peppers, garlic, onions. I'm going to show you how to take these precious little greens here and turn them into a wonderful side dish. So, yeah, and you know what I see sometimes a lot going on now is kale and spinach dip. You know how you have spinach dip?
Yes.
Well, they have kale and spinach dip now.
You're adding cheese to that?
Everything.
Oh, everything.
Everything. So let's move this pan over here out of the way so you all can get a good look at what we're doing here. So
there we go.
First thing in here is going to be our bell peppers because it's actually going to take longer to cook than the kale. This kale is so delicate. Then I'm going to add some red bell peppers in here. I'm going to add some onion.
Okay.
Crank that up on high. Give me a little bit of our seasonings. We want the salt blend.
Salt blend.
We want the Cajun seasoning in here. We want a little bit of Italian seasoning in here.
Okay.
Add a little bit of my favorite, which would be the garlic.
Yes, yes, yes. Here?
Nope, that's cinnamon.
Okay.
Give me the garlic.
The garlic. Okay.
And then you can add some curry powder in there because I like curry powder also. And you're just going to shake your pan. Try this at home.
Just a little bit, right?
Yeah, put it in there.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Now you're in there.
I wish you could smell this. It smells nice and sweet. Then we're going to have some green onions in here also. So I'm going to take that. I actually folded the green onions inside the kale.
Okay.
You don't have to, but what it does, now you're chopping one time instead of twice. So you just save a little bit of time here. And then just cut it all together. Let me show you something. I'm using a cleaver. The proper way to hold any knife, you have your thumb here and you have your 4 fingers just like this here. That gives you the support for the knife. Not like this. You hold it like that. Fingers curled, and you just lean the knife on your fingers. And you see how I'm chopping while I'm talking to you. My fingers are guiding the knife where I want it to go. Nice and simple.
Very
now,
good. Okay.
Add some of that kale in there. You ready to start chopping? Adding the kale in there. I'm going to set this one over to the side.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you a nice big bunch while I keep talking. Okay, now I'm going to trade off. If I trade off with you, you have to keep chopping in a timely fashion so we can get this going. But look at that. Nice and simple. It's going to take about 2-3 minutes top. Let me find let me grab my tongs here. Get that going. And just stir, stir, stir. If you need to add a little more oil, you can do that. Or you can add water. You can add a little bit of chicken stock. It really doesn't matter. It's nice and simple. I'm keeping an eye on my blueberries. They are starting to boil. That is what we need. I'm going to reach in here.
You're good.
Be careful when you reach in when someone else is handling the knife. And just keep adding to it. You see how it cooks down just like greens because it is a green. So start adding the kale into your diet and you will be amazed add the flavors that you've been missing. So nice, fresh. Concentrating, huh?
I am concentrating.
Isn't this nice and colorful and pretty?
It's beautiful.
Let me have some feta cheese in there.
Okay.
You don't have to add the feta, come on. But we're gonna add it because I have it here. I like feta. Hopefully you like feta cheese. But that's the beauty, that's good. When you're cooking, whatever you like, add it in there.
My name is Judy Myhan. I'm an instructor in the School of Nutrition and Food Sciences at LSU. This nutritional segment is on kale. Kale is a star among the dark green vegetables. It's an antioxidant powerhouse and an excellent source of calcium. It's also high in vitamin K, C, and beta-carotene, the plant form of vitamin A. People usually think of dairy products as their calcium source, but the calcium in kale is easily absorbed, even better absorbed than the calcium from milk. People who don't drink much milk could eat more of these vegetables, kale, broccoli, and bok choy, to meet their calcium requirements. So, stay strong and healthy and reduce cell-damaging oxidation. Eat your kale, both cooked and raw, and get plenty of the essential nutrients, vitamin A, C, K, calcium, and the antioxidant phytochemicals.
As an American, it's hard to hear that we have a serious hunger issue in our country. And as a parent, it's even harder to hear that 1 in 5 of our kids struggles with hunger, especially when billions of pounds of good food are wasted every year. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide billions of meals to families in need right in your community. Visit feedingamerica.org to support Feeding America and your local food bank. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
I guess sometimes things just happen. Devastating things. Your whole world changes in an instant. That's what happened to me the day my mother had a stroke. I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Protect the ones you love. Spot a stroke fast.
Blueberries are big business here in Louisiana. The blueberry crop's value to the state has increased from $1 million to more than $6 million over the last 10 years. The rabbit eye and southern highbush berries are species which can be successfully grown in the Pelican State. Breeding programs throughout the Southeast have developed several highly productive varieties which produce large, juicy, aromatic berries with a rich flavor profile. Louisiana blueberries typically begin to ripen in the first week of June. That's almost a month ahead of berries grown elsewhere in the United States. Ripening continues throughout the summer. The berries are harvested 2 to 3 times per week. The blueberry is a versatile berry and delicious. It's why the blueberry is a favorite Louisiana specialty crop.
Now, on to the blueberries. We're gonna do a couple of things. We're gonna make our blueberry vinaigrette. Then we're gonna make a blueberry cobbler. We're gonna get that in the oven. And while the cobbler is cooking, I'm gonna show you what we can do with our blueberry jam. So I'm gonna set this here.
Okay.
Let me add in some flour. Actually, let me get this off the burner. Can you slide that down for a minute?
Yes, I have that.
And let me add some flour in here because I don't want to make a mess. And remember, whatever mess you make, unless you have kids at home that can wash the dishes for you, you probably got to clean it up. So keep it nice and clean. Okay, flour in.
Okay.
Then we have some baking powder going in.
Okay.
About 2 teaspoons baking powder. Then I'm going to add some sugar because you need some sugar in here.
Just like a quarter cup.
Yeah, and then you want to sprinkle some sugar on the berries for me?
I can do that.
And let me get all this nice and mixed in here. Then I'm going to add a little bit of milk. It's going to be a little runny.
And you're using what type of milk?
This is whole milk.
Whole milk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And just stir right in the center here. You see how the baking powder is making it bubble up a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
You can add a pinch of salt in here. And yes, you can add the fancy salt. It doesn't take a whole lot. Just put that in there. It's going to be nice. It's going to be sweet. You want to grab one of the oranges and one of the lemons for me.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is add a little bit of lemon zest. So I'm going to grab my microplaner here.
Okay. Go ahead.
And that's it. Put that in there.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
Pour that over.
Do you want me to put some of the lemon there?
Yeah. And pop it in the oven. Done.
Okay.
Simple. Easy.
Here we go.
When I want fresh blueberries, I buy from a local grower. Someone like Heather Robertson from John Dale's farm in Ponchatoula, Louisiana. On your blueberries, they're grown in pots. What's the advantage of growing them in pots as opposed to directly in the ground?
Pots, it tends to force the blueberries to come in earlier. It confines the roots, and they like that, and it forces the fruit out earlier. You start off in little pots with a little plant, and as they progressively get bigger, you progressively go to bigger pots. But this is a 25-gallon pot, so this is the biggest you'll go to.
Maturing a blueberry plant takes some time. How long till you get to this stage here?
I would say 2-3 years to this stage.
Okay, and why are they green right now?
They're green. They'll start ripening up. We picked a few yesterday. They'll go from green to purple to blue.
I would tend to think that they all ripen on the same one at the same time, but I see purple, green,
right, not all
on
at
the
the
same
same
little.
time.
On one bush, how long would you get a harvest off of that?
Well, we'll continue. We'll pick these for about a month and a half. We'll just come through here, and we'll as they ripen, we'll come through and we'll pick the ripened berries off, and then within the next couple of days you'll go through again. But you do that for about a month and a half.
The blueberry season in Louisiana lasts between 6 and 8 weeks. Many blueberry farms open up to the public. They're called pick-your-own farms. It makes a great day out with the family. Blueberry crops respond dramatically to weather conditions. Farmers have several techniques they employ to manage weather variations.
If you can see the sprinkling systems,
yes,
we frost controlled. If it was going to be 32 or below, my husband ran the sprinklers all night until we got above that temperature, and it kind of protected them. So that's why we have our berries so early. A lot of people don't have the sprinkling system that we do, so they can't protect them. So they'll be pushed back a little later by that too.
Okay. So from the time you plant, how long before you harvest?
I would say if you're starting small, I would say you'll get a good harvest 2 or 3 years after.
So an orchard like this here took you at least 3 years?
To start off, yes ma'am.
Okay. Crops like blueberries are not just delicious. They also present an eye-opening educational opportunity to kids. Kids might not otherwise know how a fruit like this gets into their favorite dessert.
Children, they don't tend to know where fruit comes from at all. But if you can explain it to them and say and show them, and we have field trips that come out and we'll show them, where they come from. They're just in awe and amazement of where they come from, and they didn't know they could do this or how easily it could be done. So, it's really great to teach the children where all the fruit and vegetables come from.
All right, now Mike, you enjoyed that. I'm gonna finish dressing this salad here. Folks, I hope you had fun with us, and thank you so much for watching. You've been watching Cooking Up Louisiana Treasures. Watch more clips from the show online at cookinguplouisianatreasures.com. While you're there, take our quick survey and tell us how you use Louisiana specialty crops. It's all at cookinguplouisianatreasures.com. See you next time.